And we are back. This is Late Night Parents. Ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com. I'm Ted Hicks. To my left is none other than Richie V.
And with the traditional, yes, there he goes on the dial. Teddy Ted! What's going on, man? How's it going?
It's going. It's flash floods. It's all type of torrential rain.
We are in the middle of a nice, much needed downpour. We were kind of low on the water reserves there by a few inches, so we can use this.
I believe. Hopefully, after this, we should be right on par or a little bit above the.
Little above.
I hope. I don't know.
It all depends. I don't know either. But rain is good. I'd rather it be rain than snow.
It's true.
Because
can't snow if it's like 70, 75 degrees outside, Rich. Come on.
That's true, but see, go back a few years to when we grew up, and it was this time of year.
Yes.
There was a potential to be snow.
I agree with you.
But for the non-existent climate change,
it doesn't exist.
We don't have snow now. We have rain.
We don't have snow.
At the very end of October.
There's no climate change.
At 69, 70 degrees.
Right. And it's a couple of days before November.
Right.
I can't believe that 5 years ago, around this time frame, was Superstorm Sandy.
It seemed like it was longer.
It really does.
It's kind of a shame, I guess, how things just disappear into your memory and you kind of forget about them if you weren't affected.
Right.
And
we were all
tragically
affected.
We were all affected, but if you weren't tragically affected, anything, this is just a part of life. You tend to forget about it. It goes by until the next time.
Yeah, but for most of us, it kind of gets burned and stored in the back of your brain. And you kind of you sit there and certain things will happen.
Right.
And you'll be like, oh, man, I remember that point in my life.
Yep.
We were doing X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
Want to give a big shout out to XRP Radio in the UK, Tiz Scherer. Thank you for carrying the show. They play us 3 or 4 times a week.
I was looking at our latenightparents.com/stations listing, and I noticed that. I was like, we are getting some nice airplay out there across the pond. So thank you very much. Pond.
Yes. Now, you got to remember, UTC time.
Yes, Universal. So we're right now. Well, no, we don't talk about times or anything like that. So let's just say that they're mostly sleeping right now, and that's okay.
It's true. That's true. So when I go to their site, xrpradio.co.uk, and I pull up the times, and it'll say 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, okay, 3 o'clock in the morning, their time, 3 o'clock in the morning, our time, 5 hours before, 5 hours after, So that's where I kind of get tripped up, and then I start to think, and then I start to smell smoke.
And then you say, never mind.
It's
airing.
Thank you so much, XRP Radio in the UK, for playing the show. A lot to cover here. It's the All Hallows Eve show.
All right, it should have had queued up that little snippet from Michael Jackson's Thriller, the howl.
Got you. Like I said, lot to cover. We have one featured guest, but we have a slew of topics that we have to cover. But our one featured guest is from Go Tracks. There was a post on Late Night Parents this week regarding Go Tracks and the need for last-minute Halloween costume and, a couple of easy, I guess, treats or tips, and also regarding, I think, some ideas regarding hoverboards.
That's got to be interesting. I don't even know, and I guess this will be a good time to ask what the status is these days of hoverboards. Right.
I'm not sure. I remember I was really close to landing someone from the hoverboard industry. Is a CEO. We were going back and forth. He was out west, and He had made an appearance on, I believe, the Today Show.
Okay.
And I said, you go from the Today Show to Late Night Parents, and we were all psyched up, and then wah, 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 wah.
And then one blew up on an airplane, and that was the end of it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And I never spoke to him ever again. I sent him an email, and it bounced back.
It bounced back? Oh, okay.
I went to the Twitter page.
For
Non-existent.
page not found.
The Facebook page no longer existed.
Okay. Well, they rode the wave, as brief as it was. And who would know what was going to happen?
It was a nice wave. It was a nice wave until we started seeing hoverboards, catching on fire.
Yep. But and again, this will be a question for our guest, I believe. But we were given the impression that those that were catching on fire were those that were more cheaply made, and either cheaply made hoverboards or more cheaply made batteries and insulation and things like that. So if you wanted to spend the $800-900 on a hoverboard, it was safe. So supposedly, allegedly. But the entire industry took the hit, so that was the end of it.
Yeah, and you know how these industries are. It's like on to the next thing.
Yep.
There was a motorized scooter company that I was talking with. I don't think anything ever came of it. We were going back and forth. Rich, a lot of time I spend in email. Mm-hmm. So do you. Just talking with the PR folks,
right?
Talking with people, hearing about their products, people trying to get, some people wanting to be put on, some people want to send you their product.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of, from time to time, I sit back and take a pause just to see if, I'll say we do our necessary research.
Right.
Because everything that's free isn't good.
No, but then again, I guess it is our responsibility for when an evaluation item comes in to give it an honest and fair evaluation. Just because they sent it to us doesn't mean we have to say we like it.
No.
And I believe that they understand that when they send it. They're not looking for us to just say, brouhaha, it's wonderful. Because that also doesn't help their market and their industry and their business. Because if there's a problem with a device or an issue with something, they need to know about it so they can correct it when they release it. So, we can't always say it's great. Though I will say I think most of the things we get have been pretty good.
Yeah, no, they have been. Recently got a pair of glider gloves.
Now, what are glider gloves?
Glider gloves. I should have brought them in here for you. These are gloves you put on your hands, mm-hmm. and they still allow you to have that touch on your screen.
Okay.
And, pretty cool item. But it's pretty hard because everyone's hands are shaped differently.
Different sizes, different shapes. Yep.
So
not all of us have big bear paws like you.
Right. So XL for some folks might be good for me.
Right.
Might also be good for you. But the fit itself is going to be different.
Correct.
It's going to be different. So the gloves, I tried them today because I was going back and forth with the folks at Glider Gloves and tested them out. And I was thinking, do a quick YouTube review for them to see how it works, how it functions. Did I still have the same touch capability as if I didn't have a pair of gloves on?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. But as you know, most of these phones, well, maybe not the next version of the iPhones and Samsung phones, might not even have the biometric feature on it. The biometric feature, not accessible.
And that's understandable because it can't read your fingerprint through whatever material it is. So that's understandable.
You understand it, but I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
I thought it.
You thought it was going to work.
I thought
initially,
wholeheartedly, it was going to work, and I didn't have an issue with it. I did have an issue with it.
No, I understand. Well, no, it is one of those things that, okay, well, all right, but you could still tap to enter your code in.
Yes, you
manually.
could. You could.
So you're not down.
The gloves are pretty good.
Right.
They're pretty slick, you know. So in regards to talking about product reviews, because as you know, we talk sports, technology, education, product reviews. We try to wrap it all into parenting. And I don't know how we wrap in parenting with glider gloves and sending text messages.
Simple. Because when you're standing out there watching your son play on the Hempstead Raiders football team, and it's 28 degrees outside, and you've got the gloves on, and you need to text Mrs. Hicks that we're about to come home. Please get the hot chocolate ready. You don't want to take your hands out of the gloves. You want to be able to just do it directly with the gloves on and send that text message. That's how.
Got you. So in the queue, in the place to be, we have none other than Don Stefanovich from GoTrax. And GoTrax is it's a new Denver-based brand of hoverboards and electric rideables on a mission to boost imaginations and the possibilities for personal transportation. Don, how are you doing?
Great, Ted. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Don, we also have Rich Valdez in the studio, so we're going to go back and forth. But I want to thank you for coming on the show this evening and taking out a few minutes of your time to talk about your product.
Hey, Don, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
So, tell us about your product.
Well, as you mentioned in that wonderful introduction, we are a new Denver-based brand, hoverboards and electric rideables. So our first products to market are actually the Hoverfly and Hoverfly Plus hoverboards. They're kind of our signature boards. And we've got some other really cool stuff on the way before the holidays, including an XL hoverboard, off-road capable hoverboard with larger all-terrain tires. And we've got the Eco, which is a hoverboard that has all the same features of the Hoverfly at a price that's really, accessible, makes the technology accessible to just about any family. And we've got some other really cool stuff in the works, too. We've got some electric ATVs and scooters, and a few other things that are a little bit more innovative and different that I can't quite mention just yet.
Okay.
Fair enough, fair enough. So the big question, I'm not sure if you heard some of the conversation that Ted and I were having before you joined us on air, but the big question for me will be, what makes your Hoverfly hoverboards different from the hoverboards that we saw, say, 2 years ago, a year ago?
That's a great question, Ted. And, with our first products to market, we really wanted to just introduce a good quality product. So some of the specs are going to vary a little bit from some of the other things that are out there. And I think, there's been some safety concerns with some of the cheaper, unregulated product that's flooded the market.
Correct.
Right.
But really our brand is all about, introducing a quality product. We're based right here in beautiful Denver, Colorado. We've got a great team, including customer service, that will pick up the phone and be very accessible when you call. And I think more than anything, it's that sets us apart from some of what's out there. And as you may have seen in some of the material that we've exchanged, we've also got a huge focus on science and learning and sort of an educational component to the brand.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we wanted to go into the movie-inspired DIY Halloween costumes made better with GoTrax. So it's the one thing I can see is the hoverboards, that have been out there that, most folks are used to. Yes, they're catered towards some of the younger folks, but nothing that's customized, let's say, with Marvel or Disney or some, one of your favorite characters. How hard was it, getting something like that licensed or working with these other type of companies?
Well, we put out a great piece of Halloween content with some ideas on some sort of last-minute DIY stuff that you can do pretty easily from things you might have around the house, and kind of, pair that with a hoverboard to take it to the next level, make it really cool and fun and creative. So, we kind of went with some movie-inspired costume ideas. I won't say that they were, officially licensed, or we didn't work directly with the creators, but, we tried to, be inspired by some characters that are very well recognized and loved among, kids and parents alike.
Sounds good. So tell me this much. If I want to purchase a hoverboard by GoTrax, am I able to go to, let's say, a Walmart or a Target or an Amazon? How would I go about purchasing it?
Well, you can get them directly at GoTrax, GOTRAX.com. You can also get them on Amazon. If you're an Amazon shopper, we've got a storefront there. And we're also on Walmart.com. So not in the stores at this time, but we are available on their website. And we're going to be available in Dunham's Sporting Goods very soon as well.
Is the major push to get your products inside the stores for the Christmas season, or it's kind of like, hey, it's an e-tail way of just getting our products out there? It's just, what's your thought process on that?
Well, obviously, with our products, the holidays coming up, this is a huge time for us, and we're a relatively new brand, and kind of in keeping with the digital world in which we live in increasingly, and shop in more than ever before. We're making a pretty hard push, I would say, with the e-sales.
Okay.
I got a question. I'm looking over, looking over the catalog of some of the devices. I see there's the Hoverfly model. There's the Hoverfly Plus model, and I see you mentioned that you do support iOS and Android apps. What are the features that the apps add to the device?
So the Hoverfly Plus and the XL are compatible, like you mentioned, with iOS and Android apps, and they do some really cool stuff. They allow you to sort of track your ride and see how far you've gone, monitor battery life.
Okay.
You can actually pair it with a Bluetooth speaker on those two models, so you can actually listen to music from your phone while you hover.
Nice. Okay.
And for the more advanced riders, they actually unlock a Pro mode that is not otherwise available, except for through the app, that raises the top speed and also kind of bumps up the sensitivity, so they're more responsive.
Okay.
And we also have, all the boards have sort of a training mode that make them a little bit less responsive and easy to learn on for the first-timers.
Good. All right.
I was going to say this, Miss Dawn. I always wanted to wonder. I always wondered, so if I charge up a hoverboard and, I'm outside having a great time with it, and next thing you know, the battery runs out. It's a great idea to be able to have, it connected with the mobile app so that you can see the amount of battery life. And I also kind of like the tracking of the overall mileage. Pretty slick idea.
Yeah, it's really cool and it's really fun. And the app does give you some more detailed information on how much battery life you have left and what your range is like. But all the boards do have a battery indicator light, so that if you are being adventurous and you're heading a little bit far from home, they'll still let you know that maybe it's time to turn around.
Okay.
So one of my final questions for you is, number one, if you do have kids, do you allow them, it's a combo question, if you do have kids, if you allow them to participate in Halloween, what are they going dressed up as?
Well, unfortunately, Ted, I'm probably not going to be a very entertaining answer here because I don't have any kids just yet.
Okay. So are you planning on attending any Halloween parties yourself?
I actually was to one or two over the weekend, and I might get to some more during the week, yes.
And you were dressed up as?
I was actually Clark Kent. So
okay.
I had the shirt and the shirt open with the tie to the side and the T-shirt underneath with the Superman logo and some glasses I picked up from the costume shop and gelled the hair a little bit and called it a day.
Nice.
Okay.
Pretty good. Well, Don, want to thank you for coming on. Best ways to find out about GoTrax is?
is really at gotrax.com, GOTRAX.com. And from there you can find our social media channels, which are usually at Ride GoTrax. And that's something the parents might really want to check out as well, because I briefly mentioned earlier, but we're really big on promoting science and learning aside from the products, and down the road some of the products will incorporate that even more. But if you check out our blog and our social channels, we're sharing really educational science facts and some things that are timely and newsworthy. And we want to be more, I think, than the product and the toys, because they are really cool, fun tech toys and gadgets. But at the end of the day, it's the technology that makes these possible.
It's true.
And somewhere out there is the next Elon Musk, the next Steve Jobs or Neil deGrasse Tyson. And those really are the kids that we want to connect with and inspire. And we want to be the brand that says it's okay to be a science geek and get excited about learning. We're already partnering with schools here in the Denver area, and we've got some programs in place to give back to science departments and some other really cool things. And just as a little teaser here on an end note, we've got some really cool stuff in the works that I can't quite spill the beans on just yet. But what I will say is I think that all the young astronauts out there are going to be really excited about some things that we have coming in the next few months.
Pretty nice. Well, as soon as the information is available for public consumption, we definitely want to have you come back, circle back, and spend a few minutes with us.
Absolutely, and I think you'll be excited about it too, Ted.
All right.
Awesome.
Don, thanks so much.
All right, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Same
Bye-bye.
here. Take care.
So GoTrax.
Interesting. So, I guess the hoverboard industry is not dead.
No, it's not. Far from
Alive
it.
and well. So, and they do have UL certification, which is good. Safety is number one.
Yes.
And they're obviously addressing that issue. So, this is good. Maybe we'll be seeing a few of these around, and
We shall see.
young Mr. Hicks.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. A lot to cover here. Rich, you tweeted out something. I saw it this morning. I saw it this morning. I woke up.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, like you normally do.
Yeah, well, I am an early riser. But there were a couple things that were on my to-do list for today. And one was to attend a youth football game.
Ah, okay.
We didn't attend the youth football game because of the torrential rains and downpours and everything else like that. But there's another underlying reason why we didn't attend it.
And what might that have been?
So I think a few weeks ago on the YouTube show or the YouTube channel, you might have seen me wearing my very proudly Hempstead Raiders sweatshirt.
Yes, I did.
Okay, gray sweatshirt, black letters.
Yep, gray and black, Raiders colors.
Raiders colors. So really excited about it. It's our first steps into youth. Well, not per se youth sports, because I've done youth sports with my kids, and
Right.
You've had a wonderful career of youth sports with your kids.
Yes.
And I will say this much. This was our first attempt at youth football. 8-game season.
Okay.
8-week season, 7 actual games.
Okay.
Regular season. At the end of game 6, the Raiders were playing another team. I won't name the team.
Okay.
And what usually happens when they're being competitive, the kids are locking up.
That's good.
My son and a youngster on the other team locked up. They didn't per se let go of each other. So there was some jawing back and forth, and there was a pushing like that.
Okay, the pushing started.
The pushing started, and then the kind of nose to nose.
Gotcha.
And then next thing I know, the 2 refs threw their flags, and my son was tossed out the game.
First, I would ask, what about the other child?
The other child was tossed out the game.
Okay, all good.
Both players were tossed out the game. And I'm standing on one side like, wait a minute, what just happened?
What just happened? I missed it.
As I'm texting without my glider gloves on.
Right.
Okay? So thrown out, 1, 2, 3, and on top of it, suspended for the following game.
Wow.
Youth sports.
Our version of sports these days.
Our version of Roger Goodell.
Yes.
Came down
and said,
sent an email to the coach. The coach sent it to me and said, your son will not be participating in the next game. And I said, okay, well, the next game is actually a bye week.
Right.
No.
The
next actual
the real game.
So we were planning today to go there to support, but the rain was so heavy, and I kind of backed out of it.
So they'll have him on the sidelines suited up,
yes,
but he won't be in the game.
Right.
Won't be playing. No playtime.
Right.
So, that sounds a little harsh. I
thought it was kind of harsh, but you know what? You don't want to foster that type of behavior.
That's true. Very true.
And you want to come down with a heavy hand.
You got to start now so that it's
you got to make someone an example
in them. And your son said, he stood up, raised his hand, and said, "I'll be the example, coach.
I'll be the example."
Would this have been something that a young Theodore that I know might have done as a child?
Carbon copy. That's why I wasn't upset with them.
Right.
I was not upset with them at all. We went home. We had Sundays.
Yes.
And we were like, all right, next.
All right. Next time, just keep your hands off. Or next time, just be quiet.
Right.
And when the whistle blows or the ball is hiked, then go ahead and go for self.
He was telling me during the game, the kid was holding him.
Okay.
And
they weren't getting called?
They weren't getting called. He told the ref. And then not the kid he actually mixed it up with. It was another guy on another team.
Okay.
He flattened that kid.
Okay.
Said something about it.
Okay.
So it was all the jawing back and forth. You knew eventually it was going to lead to a head.
It was coming to something.
Yes,
okay.
It was coming to something. So along with that, I go back to this morning. This morning you sent out a tweet, or you sent it out last night, or this morning. All I know is I opened my Twitter feed.
Mm-hmm.
I saw something that you had wrote, and it mentioned those letters. Those 4 letters.
Those 4 letters.
Those 4 letters.
I know what I tweeted out. Oh, that one. Could it be KODI? KODI?
KODI.
Yes.
The little black box that took over piracy.
You and I have had so many conversations about this device over the years.
Yes.
Because this is nothing new to us.
No, this is nothing new.
Easily 5 years?
Totally 5 years. But the best thing about it, the Wired article that you tweeted out took us down memory lane.
Conversations we had, things which were said to us.
Right.
There's always been the question about the box. How it skirts the law.
How it skirts the law. How the software is not actually installed until you click download and all this other stuff.
So they're just selling you the box.
Selling you hardware.
And you can do whatever you want with the hardware.
Right.
Because it's your hardware.
Correct.
And if it just so happens
correct
that the first thing you click on for this hardware allows you to download software, which then gives you access to shared data and that you might want to see. Well,
I don't know. I'm just kind of. It's a little touch and go there.
Well, I mean, like the Wired article said. So the big thing for video and for media in general, right before KODI and the like and whatever else might be happening along with the streaming, especially like the Amazon streaming device. Everyone's using that for unauthorized streaming these days.
Correct.
It was torrenting.
It was torrenting.
Right?
Yes.
You had a full scale device.
Yes.
Your computer or laptop, whatever the case of type of computer, and sure, you were sharing streams from who knows where, and it was all torrent.
And at that time, your machine, whomever else's machine that's on your network, was getting viruses.
Right, all over the place.
Over the place.
You thought you were clicking on a link for the latest movie, but
you really weren't.
Who knows what you were clicking on and who it was being shared with. And also, vice versa, you really didn't know if you didn't configure properly what you were sharing with the rest of the world.
What about the ones that would say, oh, I downloaded this I thought it was going to be Game of Thrones, and it turned out to be an exe file.
Right.
And then I launched it, not knowing, and my screen just went black.
My computer stopped working.
Forever.
Or it got really slow, and then it opened up a web page, and I couldn't change my home page.
Right.
And then it stayed there, and then it popped up that I had to call these guys and give them $39 to diagnose my machine.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
How many machines did you reformat and wipe
My goodness.
back in the day because of things like this?
It's painful.
So you know me. I've always been one that sides with the motion picture industry.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been one to support the streaming,
MPAA,
the illegal streaming.
RIAA.
devices. Yep.
You have been the one to champion this.
Always have been, and will maintain such, I believe, because these people don't make these songs, produce these films for free. It costs money.
They don't.
And everyone who works on them has to get paid. And the only way they get paid is either, of course, when the networks purchase it to show it on air, or when you go out and buy it.
And you wonder why these various industries are dying.
Right.
Slowly.
Yep, slowly but surely.
Slowly. So that when you do put out a classic, before it's actually even out, it's already in the wild.
Right.
People have seen it.
Yep.
And you've collected nothing from it.
Nothing from it. Right.
There's
no incentives. It's like, why bother? Except for the creative license, you just like to do it, which is really what I think a lot of artists do these days anyway. Or for music, a few musicians, they get out, they go on tour.
Right.
Where it used to be vice versa. You don't make anything on tour, you make your money from your sales. Now it's the other way around. They make their money on tour.
Wow. It's really scary. It's remember the times when a movie would be released worldwide,
Mm-hmm.
would be released in Japan, would be released outside of, abroad. And then it would get here, the debut would get here, let's say the following week.
Right. Right.
And the movie is already out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's there's a funny feeling about the whole with KODI. There's so much good about it with the open source part of it.
Right.
But there's so much bad with it.
And I think the thing is they have to separate themselves. Not that they necessarily really want to, but they need to separate themselves to legitimize themselves.
But so if you go into the Google Play Store and you look for KODI,
Yep.
you'll see, 30 million downloads?
That's crazy.
I think the one thing I tweeted to you is, so there's 330 million people.
Right.
Your article said 6% in North America alone. So just shy of 20 million people have it installed.
Yes.
And are using it. What does that say if we switch it around?
Mm-hmm.
What does this say to the industry of, what does it say to the industry that, yes, we love Netflix. Yes,
right.
We love the streaming services and these TV shows. And I mean, from the legal side,
right?
Do you make the price point? I don't know what the magic number or the magic word is, Rich. Do you make it to a certain point that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go that specific KODI route. I'm just going to go this legitimate way, and that way I know I have,
I know what you're saying, and you figure, all right, what if to throw a number on it, which just about everyone could say, let's just say $5.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Want to get a movie? No problem. $5, it's yours. I guarantee you, the majority of the people who are using the KODI service and everything will still continue to use it.
Really?
Yeah. Because let's face it. Granted, you want a movie comes out, you want that Blu-ray,
mm-hmm.
and you want that digital download, and you want that package. You get it. On Movie Tuesday, you'll get the average new release for about $20 these days.
$20.
$20 is more than fair, as far as I'm concerned.
$20. And you have something physical in your hand.
And you get the digital download.
To go into your library.
Yep.
To go onto your mobile device.
Yep. You can get it anytime. You can play it back anywhere on any device that you own, and it's going to be in pristine quality, which, for me, it's always been the quality. I will always buy the Blu-ray because I can watch that in full surround at home on, whatever screen I decide to watch it on, and listen to it and hear it and get the full experience. And
so you don't like the bootleg movies where the person is standing up and walking by the screen?
There you go. Pass me some popcorn. Yeah, no.
Oh my goodness!
I can't do those.
All right. Hey, I want to switch gears slightly. This is Late Night Parents with Rich and Ted. Wanted to talk real quickly about Roku. I just set up Roku.
You set it, yes. So you
just set it up.
You have, is it the 4K stick that you're messing with these days?
I have not the 4K stick.
Okay, that's all right.
The 1080 stick. It was like $30.
Yeah,
Just kicking the tires on it before I go get the 4K.
And this is your first Roku device.
My first Roku device.
Okay, so I'm giving you the mic because I've been talking Roku to you for however many years.
I will tell you this much. The setup.
Yep.
I did the setup just before the show.
Okay.
Just before the show.
Okay.
Maybe 20 minutes before I left.
Okay.
Okay. Real simple. Plug it in.
Yep.
Go.
Yep.
Plug in the battery on a remote. Hit the little button.
It downloads an update if there
Downloads
is
an
one.
update. Punch in this code to pair the device together.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to add your services.
Add your channels.
You add your channels.
Painless.
Simple. We put something together this week. 5 tips for your Roku.
Oh, good.
I think number 1 was rename your Roku player.
Yep.
Really important. Replay captions. Roku apps.
Yes, go looking for the apps. That's for sure for your mobile device, for your management. Oh, yeah, mute captions, absolutely.
Mute captions. And lastly, to cast Netflix or YouTube.
Now that I haven't done. But there's the tip.
There's the tip. If you want to know about, I guess the meat, the guts of this article, you got to go to latenightparents.com. Look for top 5 tips for your Roku player. If this is a work in progress, I will continue to thumb around with this after the show tonight because I don't think I'm going to watch a football game when I get home. I think I'm going to mess around with the Roku a little bit and start to add.
Start search. So, of course, you get all we'll call it the standard channels at this point.
Right.
Your HBOs, your Netflixes, your YouTubes, your Showtimes, whatever services that are part of your television subscription.
Correct.
Go and add those. And then go and start looking for all of the extra ancillary channels that they have under all topics.
I will definitely do that. So I do that under, through the web browser, through my account.
You can do it online and go through the channels and then just add, once you've logged in, and add the channels to your device. And, the next time you power it up or log in, it'll start to just pick them up and they'll start to show up.
So I'm really more interested in taking our web show to Roku.
There's a Roku development package, basically, which I had looked at once briefly, and I think I'll need to look at it again because they did make it pretty easy for you to develop your own channel and then publish it, and then you put your own branding on it. We put our own logo on it.
That's what I'm looking to do.
So we can do that.
That's what I'm looking to do. It's always for the show.
It's got to be
always for the show, but I guess we'll segue to some. Wait. I think we need to talk Halloween tips.
That's a good idea since, Halloween coming up. The next time we air, the holiday will have passed. And it's always a good idea to remind folks and give parents and children some good tips on Halloween because this can be a fun time of year, but it could also be a dangerous time of year. So, let's face it, you're going to be out there. The kids are going to be... Well, do you have a lot of kids in your neighborhood still, younger kids?
Not anything compared to when we were kids.
Right. It does seem that way, right?
Not anything. You remember we used to be outside playing football and this and that and The streets were always filled.
Yep.
Not so much.
No. Yeah, I've noticed that too. In my neighborhood, we really didn't have, go for the last 10 years easily, not many younger children, or middle-aged children, I'll call it. Not many in that preteen age. We've got a few little ones which are growing up and then leaving the neighborhood, it seems, but not a lot of little kids. But for those neighborhoods that do have lots of kids that'll be out in the street, this is kind of like the time, the night when you get to go out by yourself.
Right.
You with your friends. Parents are like, all right, stay on this block.
Correct.
Only go up and down where we can see you, but you have a little bit of freedom there. So, you still have to be careful. Let's face it, it's still a dangerous time, and it's at night.
Right.
It's dark. So everyone has to be careful. You got to worry about self-defense possibly. You also got to worry about whatever goodies may or may not end up in the bag. Mm-hmm. So one of the things, I guess, and probably the most important, is you got to talk to the kids before they go out so that they're aware of their surroundings. Because they need to understand that they need to be fully aware that they could be alone, and they need to know how to get out of a dangerous situation or be alert to keep a dangerous situation from happening. So simple things like, don't tell them not to just walk around when they're doing their trick-or-treating with their headphones on. Because, of course, your headphones on, you can't hear what's going on around you.
No, you can't.
You got to explain to them that, you need to be alert. You need to know what's going on around you, just to be careful.
Practice the buddy system and stay in groups. Be sure to tell your child how important it is to stay with the group and not to venture alone. And you basically kind of covered that previously. Do not associate with strangers or enter a stranger's home. Inform your child about the tricks used by predators. Tricks such as emergency trick, where the predator tricks the child into thinking there's an emergency and the child must go with the predator. Make sure your child knows that in an emergency, you will contact them and that they are your number one priority. Also, explain that if something were to happen to a family member or a trusted friend, would contact them with a special family code word.
That's a good idea. Have the pre-planned code word. I guess planning is the name of the game here. So you also want to plan a route ahead of time and choose a meeting time and spot. So that way, if the child does get separated from the group, everyone knows, well, okay, we should meet over at this location, and no one's wondering where could they be, where are they. And again, because it's Halloween, you got to worry about the costumes. So costumes should be comfortable, should be flame retardant. Whatever props came along with the costume, let's hope that sword isn't all of that sharp and it's just plastic and it's bendable, can't really hurt anyone. And even though they look good, masks may not really be the best idea because they limit your field of vision. And a kid about to cross the street, when he can only see, his peripheral vision is shot wearing the mask, so that makes it a little bit more dangerous there.
And in the event that your child is separated, before going out, put your name and number on your child's hand and seal it with liquid Band-Aid so it stays put.
That's a good idea, the liquid Band-Aids.
I would have never thought of that.
I wouldn't have thought about that either. That's a good one.
The only thing I keep thinking about is from a few weeks ago with Irma and the different hurricanes when they keep saying...
get a Sharpie and write your identification on your arm.
Come on. I still can't let that go.
Yeah, but think about all the people out there that were hurt.
Right.
And unidentifiable.
You're right.
And I guess the last note we have here, send your kids out with a reflector strip or glow sticks or flashlights. Obviously, just something that makes them more easily seen. One other thing they don't mention here, but all the little kids especially, those sneakers with the little blinking lights in them when they...
The little LA gears.
Yeah, those are perfect. Those are perfect for the kids. So, yep, those are a few tips on Halloween safety for your children.
So I wanted to get to you regarding some quick hits. We won't touch every one of them. We'll touch number 1 and number 3 on Facebook.
Yes.
There's no way you can get around this video of Assemblywoman from the 43rd District, the Honorable Diana Richardson, talking about the opioid epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
It's an epidemic.
But haven't we had other epidemics? This is not new.
It's not new because she was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
She was pretty hardcore because it kind of came down to what happened to all the brown and black people when crack cocaine ravaged the inner cities.
It wasn't called an epidemic. I remember.
It wasn't.
Because it wasn't affecting certain folks. So it was just in the hoods. And yep. But now it's a national issue,
yes.
Which it is. We are not saying that the opioid epidemic is not of national concern. What we're saying is this is not time we've had an epidemic of national concern, but it's when it affects different people, it's treated differently.
And and we get it. That's life.
Yeah, we get it.
We get it. Okay, but we've all been affected by having a family member that has been affected with either of these situations.
Sure.
Drugs are bad. Drugs are evil.
Yep.
You can't control them, or you can't control yourself. That's known. But why do things change now?
Right.
And that's all. That's the only thing. I mean, that video has been shared and reshared 30,000 times. It's been like 2 million views. I only open up Facebook a couple of times a week. Mm-hmm. And both times I opened it, That played right there. I said, here we go. My wife today says, hey, I want to show you this video. So I come upstairs, and I'm like, it's Diana Richardson.
She looks at you like, how did you know?
How did you know? Like, trust me. Something happened a few weeks ago. The other topic that we like to beat up, outside of Amazon, the NFL, the Houston Texans owner made some disparaging comments about inmates running the prison.
I will admit, I heard a little of this one, and I closed my ears.
Yeah,
because I was like, no, please, please say that in this time and era, and considering everything going on now, that this person didn't make a statement like this. So I didn't follow up on it.
Here's what's different. What's different is in previous comments that we've heard, they might have only affected African American players.
Right.
This affected all players.
Well, equal opportunity.
Yes, this affected all
equal
players.
Equal opportunity disparagement.
I mean, so across the board,
all you football players
are inmates.
I almost give him a pass on that one.
They're all not inmates.
No, I'm not.
But it just shows you the disconnect,
the attitude, exactly,
the arrogance.
This guy thinks he's the warden in a prison, right. And these players are his inmates. Yeah, no, this is like you say, the separation, the haves and the have-nots.
Oh, totally.
The attitudes, ingrained attitudes.
Yes.
Yep.
And on various podcasts over the past 5-6 years, we've been talking about the millionaires versus the billionaires.
Yeah.
This one kind of dug a little deep. Because the owner makes this comment. Some of the owners that were present kind of clapped back at him immediately. Mm. And kind of looked at him like what's wrong with you? And he made this comment with players there. Not per se his players.
Right.
But, NFL Players Association and the higher-ups on that side. I mean, it's a huge disconnect. I get it. You're a billionaire. You own an NFL team.
Yeah.
You're making $15 billion a year in profit.
Off of?
The backs of those inmates?
Yes, off of the backs of those inmates, and off of your $12 watered down beer.
A $12? 15? Every time I mention it, it goes up higher and higher.
Yes, it does.
Your $15 watered down beer.
Yep. Your $8 dried up hot dog.
Yes. I mean, come on. You've gouged the fans long enough.
Do you think maybe this is now the beginning of a rebellion against the NFL in general?
I think the rebellion has already started.
Yeah.
The revolution will
not be televised. And neither will Monday Night Football.
Right. I just think when you look at it and you look at these contracts to broadcast the NFL, you're starting to see empty seats, more and more empty seats.
Again, as I say many times, not the sports guy, but I think in general, sports and the way the leagues have gone in all sports, and football, baseball, basketball, they're pricing themselves out. They've gone away from being entertainment of the people,
yes,
and for the people, and now more purely just entertainment for the business.
Wait until next year when you try to turn to a Thursday night football game and it's only available on Amazon.
Right.
To Prime subscribers. Wait. That's coming.
But is that any difference from a movie only showing on cable TV?
Same thing.
Same thing.
But this is a sport that used to be available on, a channel that if I have an antenna,
right, I could receive it. Right, and because they were getting paid from the advertising.
Yes.
So they could say, all right, we're showing it because we're getting paid this way.
That is correct.
So now Amazon says, we'll show it only on here because we're going to get paid from, subscriptions.
Listen,
I don't agree with it.
We could beat that topic to death. I want to touch base with you on what you were doing. You sent me a text message.
Oh, yesterday. With the name. Yesterday. So it was, every year I try to make the photo expo at the Javits Center. This is an annual event where all vendors in the photography and photographic industry get together. Just showing the latest and greatest. The Adobes are there, the Nikons, the Canons, the Olympuses, the Sonys. You get to see all the latest hardware that's coming out. They do seminars. You get some big names in the industry, showing their tricks of the trade and, basic lessons, things like that. So it was just a very entertaining, and picked up a few tips. Saw some very nice hardware. I kept the credit card in the pocket. Okay. Didn't spend anything, but I did learn something. Thank you from the representatives from Nikon specifically, because I have one of my cameras is Nikon. That's the one I use the most. One of the nice things that they let you do there, the lenses, the entire lens catalog, they have samples of them there. And of course, they keep them behind the counter, so you can't just reach out and get it yourself.
Okay.
But you can ask them to put whatever lens you want on your camera, and you can try it out right there in front of them. So I was, able to get my hands on that nice $20,000 ultra zoom lens and play with that for a few minutes on my own camera, which was wonderful. But also got to talk to them about some of the other lenses they have, the smaller ones similar to the ones I have, and they've explained. One of my biggest gripes has been, and I've obviously not been the only one, I'll show you one day, when you use the lens for video, especially when you have it in autofocus mode, when it goes to focus on the subject, it makes a lot of noise, and you can actually hear it in the video. It's loud. Even if you put a separate microphone on top and attach it to the top of the camera, you still hear the motor as it locks in and out. Obviously, that was an issue because now, a couple of years later, they've released a whole new line of lenses that now come with the cameras, but you can purchase them separately, which are ultra quiet, and you don't hear any of these noises, and fast focusing. So I was able to use it, test it, see it, and I'll probably pick one of those up. And because they are replacements for the kit lenses, they're affordably priced. So I'll probably get a hold of one of those. But it was nice conversation with the Nikon rep. A good show. I only got to make one day out of it. It's a 3 or 4 day event at the Javits Center in the city. So,
pretty good.
Representing late night parents, of course.
As always. So I'll leave the teaser is WNYC Studios. You don't know this yet, we will be taking a trip down there.
Nice.
Not too far from where we spend our time with our 9 to 5.
Awesome. Okay, that'll be good.
Yeah, so checking out where they record their live podcasts. So now hear this, the Alec Baldwin podcast and this one and that one. Everyone, 2 dope girls, you name it.
Are we doing a broadcast from there?
No, not yet.
Okay.
They don't know yet.
Are you? Okay, fair enough.
But we're going to wrap this thing up.
And very quick, congratulations and a shout out. Today was the running of the Suffolk County Long Island Marathon. And congratulations to all you runners, but especially, 2 especiallys. Number 1 especially to my wife, Linda. She ran that 26.2 miles today. Came home not long before I came over here for the show. So congratulations. You can get out of the ice bath now. And our friend, Dee Dee DeGorville.
Get out of here.
Linda ran into Dee Dee. So Dee Dee, to you as well. Congratulations. I know both of you did your things, running out there, supporting Black Girls Run. So again, congratulations to everyone who ran today as well.
All right.
That's it.
That's the show?
That's the show. You know me. I am at Late Night Rich, and you are?
The Real Ted Hicks. Later.
Have a good week, everyone. Thanks for listening.